Pretty decent day outside today, Stephen. I'd say it's one of those days where you don't really notice the weather because it's not really that cold, it's not windy, it's not rainy, it's just
exactly
fine outside.
It's pretty seasonable, yeah. So temperatures will top out near 60, which is kind of where we should be for this time of year. Average high about 62 or so. This morning, though, was chilly. We all know that, stepping outside this morning. But now we're kind of getting into those, better ranges of temperatures, if you will, in the 50s. Clouds are taking over, though. We're looking at a blend of sun and clouds for the rest of the day. Maybe a sprinkle or two later on, but for the most part, we should stay rain-free for today. Looking outside Narragansett, still seeing some surfers out in the water. They've been pretty much out there all day long, and it's been a pretty good day for that with the sunshine and dry conditions, at least in terms of the rainfall. Temperatures in the 50s, 57 in Providence, 56 over in Newport, 57 in Hope Valley. And again, we'll get a few more degrees warmer than this for the afternoon hours, but overall not too warm for today. Radar check is quiet, tracking a few showers off to our west across the Great Lakes region. This is a lake effect shower, going on across this region. A few of these could maybe make their way into our area later on today, but for the most part, again, not expecting a whole lot. Looking pretty dry as we go into the weekend. Seasonable this afternoon, much cooler though for Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures only in the low to mid 50s for afternoon highs. And then we're talking about next week. And next week's looking quite unsettled with shower chances and even potentially a coastal storm as we go into the second half of the week. So satellite and radar, you can see these clouds kind of taking over and filtering on through. That'll be the case for the second half of the day. Wider view shows again that wet weather staying off to the west for now, but there are a few showers, kind of trying to make their way down into parts of southern New England later on this afternoon. So can't rule it out. Let's talk about Melissa though. This is of course Tropical Storm Melissa, which is somewhere right around here. It's not a well-defined center right now. It's kind of a discombobulated system, but there are tropical storm warnings issued for Jamaica and parts of Haiti. That's that orange line you see there for, again, some pretty intense impacts from this system as we go forward in time. Latest data, it's moving east at 2 miles per hour, so it's basically, staying still. Winds are still 45 miles per hour, so it's still relatively weak. However, we are expecting the system to intensify over the coming days into next week. You can see we're looking at this system to get into a Category 3 status, making landfall potentially on Cuba middle part of next week with winds of 120 miles per hour. So for today, again, no big weather issues out there. We're looking dry, quiet. Tonight's forecast, chilly and dry, back into the 30s to near 40. Winds north about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So if you're heading out early tomorrow morning, you want to have that jacket with you as well. A much cooler day for tomorrow too. North winds will be with us all weekend long, helping to keep these temperatures on the cool side across the area. Let's talk about that potential coastal storm for next week. I mentioned it earlier. Here's the American model, and we're going to go from Tuesday through Wednesday and Thursday of next week. This system takes the low up the coast. It's not really that strong, but it does show at least a center of circulation here. And that brings some rainfall, showers, some gusty winds into our area for the middle part of the week. Overall, next week looks quite unsettled at times with this system tracking up the coastline for Thursday. That's the American model. Let's go to the European model quickly here. You can see the system, a more well-defined center tracking up for Wednesday. A lot of heavy rain, some gusty winds as well. Certainly one to watch this time frame for next week for a potential system to be nearby across our area. 7-day forecast here. You can see that rainfall in the forecast for next week. Breezy showers, temperatures in the 50s, but definitely take advantage of this weekend with the dry weather because, of course, things change as we go into next week.
Change big time. Wow. All right. Thanks, Stephen. And the stories we're working on new tonight on 12 News.